What is the oldest, not necessarily song, but the oldest material on the upcoming release on Hoodoo Telemetry?
What's the oldest material? What's the oldest song? You mean like the one? Okay.
Yeah, whether it's recorded or written or what how far back does anything go on the album?
Well, I mean, real talk. I mean, in one sense, okay. Well, there's a song on the album called "My Little Zulu Babe," and it's basically a song by Bert Williams, the vaudeville performer, and that the vocals are from 1904. So that is the oldest thing. I mean, it depends on what you mean by oldest, but literally, it's Bert Williams and I believe Greg Walker, his partner, and Walker and Williams, and they did this song. And it was a piano track, and I basically turned it into a kind of like a blues, a kind of jazzy, kind of bluegrassy thing. I played acoustic guitar and banjo on it. It's a short track. It's like but that's the honestly, that's the oldest thing. Other than that, I mean, The Haunting. I recorded that a while ago, and it never went any. I didn't get it onto any other project I was doing, and I decided this is the time for it.
How was it decided that song, Beautiful Bastard, would be the ones to give the public a taste of the record before its full release?
Yeah, it's funny because the record is really, really all over the place. I mean, there's a cover of Freedom Jazz Dance on the record as well, right? So it's split between kind of vocal pieces and instrumental pieces, and the label actually decided, we're going to put out The Haunting. And I was like, really? Okay. I mean, I didn't have really an opinion so much as I was like, that's so interesting that you chose that one. And I was happy with the decision. And it's just, the record is really a journey. It's funny. It's a lot of different things, but take it in. I think there's a central sensibility that animates it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Again, like I mentioned, I've been listening to some of your other interviews, and it sounds like there were some fascinating stories and collaborations, et cetera, making the album. What can you pinpoint the most special, whether it was a recording session or particular collaboration or moment you were recording something or whatever? What's like the most awesome thing that went into it? Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing a live session with Burnt Sugar, which is Greg Tate's band, his ensemble that he started. And we were doing Freedom Jazz Dance, and by the great Eddie Harris. And that session, I was recording an instrumental thing. That session we were recording Politician by Cream. So I had the vocalist there, and then Bruce Mack, the male vocalist that was there, he said, we're doing Politician, and I was going to do Freedom Jazz Dance as an instrumental. And he said, hey, man, I want to try something. And basically, he dug up the Eddie Jefferson version of Freedom Jazz Dance. There are actually words to Freedom Jazz Dance that Eddie Jefferson came up with, and we wound up doing this kind of Jetsons version of Freedom Jazz Dance. And you'll understand why I say Jetsons when you hear it. And it was really fun. That was a really fun thing because I wasn't thinking about that as being a vocal thing. It was just going to be an instrumental, and it turned out it was great with the vocal part.
Given that this is the first solo album in a little while, so your name's going to come out more in the public view as solo artist now here in 2025. So there's probably a fair number of people, especially if someone who listens to my radio station, are going to go, oh, okay, so connect that back to circa 89, 90. They're going to orally reference guitar solos from that era, especially, probably. For those people in the public, how, maybe distill it in some way. Describe how your guitar playing has evolved from then, and we'll use that just as a placeholder, use that 35, 36 years ago, to today and the sessions that go into what you're doing artistically now on the guitar.
Well, I think on this record, thinking about who I was, which is kind of insane to think about who one was over 30 years ago. On this record, really the songs themselves dictate my approach. There are songs on this album where I really go for texture more than playing fast notes or playing. It's really more about the what feels right inside of the song. Now, the song "Beautiful Bastard," has a guitar solo that's more, a little bit more in the tradition of things I've done, but it also I feel really fits the tune. The Haunting is really very, it's very close to the melody. What I do. I don't do flashy, flashy thing on it, and it feels right to me for the song. And so really the songs are dictating much more my approach than, I want to play something super fast and whatever. I mean, there is the opening song is kind of is an instrumental, "The Door of No Return," and that has got a vibe, like more of a Jeff Beckish type of, guitaring thing. So it really is defined much more by what the music is.
Got about a minute left. Who is inspiring you now, next generation musicians? It doesn't necessarily have to be a guitar. Any musician, any band, whatever. Who's got your attention that's a relatively new act, if any?
Oh, well, Hiatus Coyote is a band that is my daughter turned me on to, and I think that they're fabulous. There's a composer named Naima Maddox who is out of this world. She's just kind of coming out, and she's ridiculous. I recently heard this guitarist, Julian Lange, who is playing with Joe Lovano. In fact, Will Calhoun plays drums. He's playing with Joe Lovano, and he's a beast, and he's really awesome jazz guitarist. Very thoughtful, but really intense. Jesse Wells, the outlawed Jesse Wells. I've found him on Instagram. He's a folk artist, and he has a song called "War Isn't Murder." He's extremely prolific. I think he's outstanding. He's kind of Woody Guthrie or Bob Dylan for these times. Very impressed with him.
Fascinating. All right, well, we got a wealth of stuff to listen to between all of that and the album itself. Vernon Reid, it's been an honor to get a chance to chat with you. All the best going forward with Hoodoo Telemetry's coming album with the album coming out.